Does cold weather really make your joints ache? A Google Maps search debunks this myth.
In a study led by UW Medicine in Seattle, researchers looked at how weather affects Google searches for joint pain.
We were interested in the fact that people no longer go to initially at least, go to their doctors for information about musculoskeletal problems and sports injuries. The first place to look is the internet.
The study looked at 5 years of local weather temperatures, from below freezing to quite hot from 50 U.S. cities, and then cross-referenced that information with the number of Google searches for arthritis, knee, and hip pain.
We were interested in areas where we could get good information for cities with relatively high populations so that we could get a large sample size. And we also had good information on the local weather. Google has produced a very useful tool called Google Trends, and this allows you to track the search behavior over time, over periods of years.
Researchers examined whether temperature, humidity, or rainfall corresponded with relatively more or fewer searches.
So arthritis, we found that there wasn't really much of a relationship between the weather variables and the search volumes.
But there was a surprise finding for knee and hip pain searches.
We saw a fairly direct correlation between search volume and increasing temperature. We also found that when it rained outside, there was a distinct drop in the amount of searches for knee pain and hip pain. We think that is due to the fact that when the weather is better outside, people are more active. They're outside taking part in sports, they're out running, and we think that as they're increasing their activity, this has a fairly direct correlation between the number of injuries they're getting.
The researchers hope to use Google Trends data again to help predict when there will be increased demand for medical services to treat joint pain and injuries. From the UW Medicine newsroom in Seattle, this is Brian Donahue.
And finally, our story on precision medicine. Have you ever wondered why a treatment that works for one person doesn't work for another? Our UW Medicine scientists are trying to find more precise ways to diagnose and treat patients. Imagine a future where a simple lab test could help predict what disease you might get and how to keep from getting it. That's the future. It's called precision medicine, and it could help millions of people with chronic or life-threatening diseases by understanding each patient's unique biology. Jay Shunderay is a UW Medicine geneticist and director of the Brotman Beatty Institute for Precision Medicine.
Each human body is comprised of around 40 trillion cells, right? And in disease, something is going wrong in some subset of those cells.
For more than 100 years, medicine has often treated disease by treating all patients the same, finding a treatment or cure that works for most and applying it to all.
What we hope with precision medicine is that we're now in a position to understand why our treatments succeed in some patients and fail in other patients.
In the last 60 years, with the discovery of DNA and the completion of the Human Genome Project, researchers have identified the genetic risk factor for many diseases, like the BRCA1 gene mutation for breast cancer. But there are limitations.
About half the time when we see a new mutation, we can't tell whether it's going to lead to breast cancer or whether it's perfectly benign. We simply tell women that they have a mutation that we can't interpret and are really unable to provide good guidance on what to do with that information.
I feel it first in my arm.
41-year-old Christy Blair was diagnosed with breast cancer when she was 35. Her mother died from breast cancer at age 53. Now, cancer-free, this mother of 5 with 4 daughters can talk about the uncertainty of cancer treatment.
I was definitely scared. It's still a best guess. You know, it's still, there's so many pieces to cancer, and there's all these little parts underneath that make either you responsive to a treatment or not responsive, but there's always that, oh, what if it doesn't work?
In the future, precision medicine may allow Christy and other cancer patients like her to have her blood tested for circulating tumor cells, identifying mutations. That could help doctors pick the best treatment for her. For Christy's 4 daughters, precision medicine may make it possible to analyze inherited mutations and tell if they pose a risk or not.
We are going to be better at predicting which individuals are at very high risk for certain diseases, be those schizophrenia or heart disease.
Babies who are born with rare diseases will also benefit. Current technology is already helping doctors diagnose newborns with rare disorders, but precision medicine will make it faster.
Being able to get to the point where we can keep people healthy, right, would be fantastic.
And that's really the mission of precision medicine, to get to the point where disease isn't treated, it's prevented. You can always learn more about what we do here at UW Medicine by going to our website, uwmedicine.org. You can also visit our consumer website, Right as Rain, at rightasrain.uwmedicine.org. Thanks so much for joining us.